Hi y'all. So today I wanted to kind of look back on 2019, my reading year and my Booktube year kind of in review. But this isn't going to be a stats video, but more of just a reflection point. Oh, and I'm going to talk about my favorite book of the year. In 2019, Goodreads says I read a total of 2,685 pages across 18 books. And the truth is, I started close to 75 books this year. I just only finished 18 books. 10 of them were children's picture books. My favorites of the children's picture books were Just Add Glitter and The Dragon and the Nimblesome Knight. I will link both down below. I thought they were fantastic. But I had a real problem finishing things. I would start things. One of the books I DNF'd, and I did actually count this one toward my goal. It was the only book I DNF'd that I counted toward the goal, and this was Circe by Madeline Miller. I would read it, and halfway through I'd realize I was frustrated with the book, or the only reason I was reading it is because I'd already started it and that I wasn't enjoying it. And things that I once loved, I was no longer enjoying that kind of book or that genre, which I was surprised by. And I do think a lot of this had to do with how stressed I was, but I wonder if all of it's because I was stressed or because my reading tastes in general have changed, or what I really don't know. And so far this year, I've already finished one book, but it's a reread because I decided I was going to start this year off with a reread. That brings me to my favorite book of the year. My favorite book of the year was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. And this was a book that, when I read it the first time, I binge read it and loved it. Felt no guilt about it. However, I didn't give it 5 stars in 2019. I gave it 5 stars upon my reread. When I read it the first time, I think I gave it 4 stars or 3.5 stars. I thought it was great. I enjoyed the time I read with it, but I felt like it wasn't memorable. And then that book stayed with me the entire year. I kept thinking about it. And so I eventually bought my own copy. And I just really loved this book. I enjoyed the sequel. The novella is not worth the paper it's written on. It's crap. But I love this one. And The Wicked King, which I'm currently in the middle of rereading, and I love it just as much. And so that kind of made me think that, well, it's not that I don't like the genre that I used to like, because The Cruel Prince by Holly Black is YA fantasy, which I still love. I do like a good adult fantasy, but these are just so binge-worthy. And maybe that's what I need. Maybe I need binge-worthy books. Another book I really enjoyed was The Feather Thief by Kirk Wallace Johnson. It was about all of these feathers from some of Darwin's birds and different ecologist birds went missing. These are of significant importance to science even today. And it was about this unbelievable heist, but it talked really about the guy who did the heist and his life. And I found it really, really fascinating. And that book really got me back into nonfiction reading, which I have been enjoying. Again, haven't really finished anything, but I did really enjoy it. And then in terms of Booktube, the beginning of the year, I started off pretty strong, and then I took a slight break. I was stressed and I was feeling guilty for making videos and things like that. And then I was starting back up right before I got this new job. Became an environment mainly because of Twitter that was extremely toxic, and so I pulled way back and didn't do anything basically for the rest of the year. And now that I've come back to making videos, I still like it. And now that I come back to making videos, I have curated my subscription feed, so I've unsubscribed to some people. I very much, and more so than I did for my subscription feed here, I curated my Twitter down. There's a lot of people I don't follow or that I follow but I've muted because I found that their social media perspective and the things that they were sharing, while it might have been therapeutic for them, was toxic for me. And I was starting to realize that some of it was on the people who were displaying this stuff, but then some of it wasn't. It was people weren't necessarily saying or sharing things that were necessarily hurtful, but because of my own life experiences, I found seeing those things every day in my feed to really trigger some negative thoughts and it was affecting my self-confidence. And one of the reasons I started Booktube was really to increase or start to regain my self-confidence, because at the time I started Booktube, it was shot. It was non-existent. Seeing all the negativity, even if it wasn't necessarily a problem per se, it was a problem for me. And so because of that, there are certain people I don't follow on Twitter. And these aren't people that, like, if I were to see them just walking down the street, sure, I would say hi to them and have a conversation. And in fact, I might actually enjoy their presence more in person, but just their online presence, because it's an outlet for them, became unhealthy for me. So after doing all of that, it's made me feel a lot better, and I feel better about the community, and I'm more proud to be a part of it. And I've kind of realized, and I think this is the other thing too, I saw Beth June, I can't remember the numbers, but I've watched her since, I think, like the 5th or 6th video she's ever posted. This was back in like the baby days of Booktube of like 2012. I think I started my channel in 2013. But I realized that day of Booktube will never be back. That the feeling, that the way the community was then, for better or for worse, it's gone. And it's different and it's evolved. And longing for that doesn't do me any good. But what I can take away from that is the joy I got, and figuring out how to get that same joy just with the new culture of Booktube, and learning how to interact with this now community that's huge. Because before, you could watch every Booktuber out there because it was such a tiny community, so you could watch every single person's videos, and it was great. It just felt tighter. But now that it's larger, it's not as close knit, and there's a lot of different cliques and things like that, which is natural when a community grows. Not everybody can watch everybody, and so you're not going to know everybody. And it's kind of, in a lot of respects, I think that's good, because Booktube is very much diversified, and there's different kinds of readers and different styles of books that are being talked about, and you get more than just a select few perspectives. But it just means that the community isn't as close as what it used to be, and that's okay. It's just finding your place within that community I found to be a bit more, I guess I've struggled more with it, because before, when you could watch everybody's videos and comment on everybody's videos, and, you know, the people of just about every channel knew all the commenters, those days are gone. And you can still get that with small channels, because they read all their comments, they love all their commenters, because when you aren't getting 1,000 comments on every video, or even like 100 comments on every video, you can honestly read every single comment because you have that time. Whereas some of the larger booktubers who get 3,000 comments a video, at some point there's not enough hours in the day. And that's not on them, that's just on the reality of the situation. And so, you know, it's finding that balance. And I'm working on that. And I think that's what 2019 taught me, is that I need to find the balance. So in 2020, we're finding the balance. And I will see y'all later. Bye, y'all.